Have you ever wondered about the moments that changed the world forever? A single battle, a single decision that ripples through history, shaping empires and destinies. Today, we're diving into one such moment, the legendary Battle of Actium. This wasn't just a naval skirmish, it was the dramatic final act in a power struggle that would forge the Roman Empire and seal the fate of two of history's most famous lovers, Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Picture this. The year is 31 BC. The glittering waters of the Ionian Sea, off the coast of western Greece, are about to become a stage for one of antiquity's most decisive showdowns. On one side, we have Octavian the cool, calculating heir of Julius Caesar. He represents the might and tradition of Rome, determined to consolidate his power and eliminate his final rival. On the other side, we have a formidable alliance, Mark Antony, once Caesar's most trusted general, a brilliant military commander in his own right, now entwined with the enigmatic and powerful Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. Their combined forces represented a serious threat to Octavian's ambitions. Antony commanded a massive fleet. His ships were huge, more like floating fortresses than agile warships. These were the famous quinquiremes, behemoths with bronze rams, towering superstructures, and packed with heavily armed soldiers and powerful catapults. Cleopatra's own Egyptian fleet was also there, adding to their numerical strength. Together, they were a fearsome sight. Antony and Cleopatra had established their base at Actium, a strategic point controlling the entrance to the Ambracian Gulf. They were well supplied and confident. Meanwhile, Octavian's forces, commanded by the brilliant Admiral Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, were not to be underestimated. Agrippa was a tactical genius. While his ships were smaller and lighter than Antony's, they were far more maneuverable. They were the Liburnians, swift vessels that could dart around the larger, more cumbersome enemy ships. Agrippa had already proven his skill by blockading Antony's fleet inside the Gulf, cutting off their supply lines and slowly starving them out. Antony's situation was becoming desperate. Disease was spreading through his camp and desertions were becoming common. He was trapped. A breakout was his only option. So, on the 2nd of September, the fateful day arrived. Antony's fleet sailed out to meet Octavian's forces. The plan was not necessarily to win a total victory, but to break through Agrippa's blockade and escape to Egypt, where they could regroup and continue the fight. The battle began, and it was a clash of titans. The sea churned as hundreds of ships collided. Antony's giant quinquiremes were like islands of chaos, difficult to board and capable of inflicting immense damage. But Agrippa's smaller ships were like a pack of wolves swarming the larger vessels. Using their agility to their advantage, they would ram, retreat, and harass Antony's ships, setting them on fire with flaming projectiles. The air was thick with smoke, the clang of steel, and the cries of men. For hours, the battle raged with no clear winner. Antony's forces were holding their own, fighting with the desperation of cornered animals. And then, the inexplicable happened, the moment that has puzzled historians for centuries. From the heart of the battle, a squadron of about 60 Egyptian ships, with Cleopatra herself on board her flagship, the Antonias, suddenly hoisted their sails and broke away from the engagement. They weren't retreating in a panic. It seemed organized, deliberate. They sailed south away from the fight. What happened next was even more shocking. Mark Antony, seeing Cleopatra's ships leaving, abandoned his command. He left his men, his fleet, his honor, all of it, in the middle of a battle for the fate of the world. He transferred to a smaller, faster ship and raced after her. He chased the woman he loved, leaving his army to face destruction alone. Why did she leave? Was it a prearranged plan to escape? A signal that the breakout had succeeded? Or was it a moment of panic, a betrayal? And why did Antony follow? Was he so utterly captivated by her that he couldn't bear to be separated, even for a moment? Or did he believe the battle was lost and their only hope was to flee together? We may never know the true motives behind their actions on that day. What we do know is the devastating consequence. With their commander gone, the morale of Antony's remaining forces shattered. The fight went out of them. Some ships surrendered, while others were hunted down and destroyed by Agrippa's relentless fleet. By the end of the day, the sea was littered with the wreckage of Antony's once mighty navy. It was a complete and total victory for Octavian. His path to becoming the sole ruler of the Roman world, the first Roman emperor, Augustus, was now clear. The aftermath was tragic and swift. Antony and Cleopatra made it back to Alexandria, but their cause was lost. Their allies deserted them and their armies surrendered. When Octavian's legions arrived in Egypt the following year, there was little resistance. Faced with capture, Antony took his own life, believing Cleopatra was already dead. In a heart-wrenching twist, she was still alive, after a final, defiant meeting with Octavian, where she failed to secure her kingdom for her children. Cleopatra also chose death over the humiliation of being paraded through Rome in a triumph. The legend says she died from the bite of an asp, a symbol of divine royalty, a final act of a queen. The Battle of Actium wasn't just a military victory, it was a turning point in history. It ended the long and bloody civil wars that had plagued the Roman Republic. It ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana. Under the rule of Emperor Augustus, the world we know today was profoundly shaped by the outcome of that single day on the Ionian Sea. But beyond the grand sweep of history, Actium is also a deeply human story. It's a tale of ambition, power, and, above all, a love so powerful it toppled an empire. Was it love that caused Antony to abandon his men? Or was it a calculated risk that went horribly wrong? It's a debate that continues to fascinate us, a collision of passion and politics on the grandest scale imaginable. The story of Antony and Cleopatra reminds us that even the most powerful figures in history are driven by the same emotions that drive us all. Their choices made in the heat of battle and the fire of love echoed through eternity. What do you think? Was Antony a fool for love? Or was there more to their escape plan? Let me know your theories in the comments below. History is full of these incredible what-ifs, and this is certainly one of the biggest. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.